Hey everybody, how we doing? It is your buddies Thor and Dude Man. Hey buddy.
Hey, good boy.
Yeah, he couldn't be bothered right now. Sorry for the noise. I wonder how it's gonna be after I filter out some of the noise. But I had somebody give me a little hey, let's hear from you. So I figured I would jump on real quick and just check in. I am going to, I'm mailing out some stuff today to the IRS. All the processes that I've been learning about for the last basically year and a half is finally culminated in me starting to implement the use of these forms. I have not been on too much because I have been totally focused on trying to, one, kind of get back into a healthier state. I got a little bit off track over the holidays, so I'm spending a lot of time exercising. And now the Dude Man is healthy, I can exercise him as well. So that, along with my studies on the forms 1099A and 1099C, 1096, 1040, 1041, and W8, EIN, estate EIN, foreign grantor trust EIN. So, as you can see, there's a lot of different things that I would imagine, if you're anything like I am, when I first came across this info, every single one of those forms, you're going, huh? Except for 1099, you go, I've heard of a 1099. And most likely the miscellaneous, where they're trying to get you to admit that you have income when you don't have income. You do not have income. Now, again, I that would be a whole nother discussion I could get into as to why you don't have income. It's one of those discussions that you have to build one little step at a time, and it's not a quick discussion. You know, there's a way that they fooled same thing as like trying to tell someone who knows nothing about nothing that this COVID, the fact or the belief that COVID is anything other than another influenza that is pretty much the same as every other influenza. They all, make the lives of older, more immunocompromised people difficult. That's what this thing is, I don't see any different. And again, I've been a health expert for 12 years. I'm a rehabilitation specialist, so I help people get healthy. That's what I've done for the last 12 years. And, I have a lot of medical professionals in my circle, so I don't say that lightly, because it's a shame that anybody suffers from anything, but heart dis-ease is a real thing, and a lot of people don't even realize how sick they are, and until they have a heart attack and they die, and then it's just simply heart attack. It's nobody can tell you exactly what all the steps were leading up to that, but I guarantee you, most every single one of those people who have heart disease of any kind, who are at risk of having a heart attack, especially if you get stressed out with any type of illness like an influenza kicks your ass. So if your heart is already barely working, all you need is a stress of an influenza to make it just say, all right, I've had enough, and the heart will stop working. It's not, real brain science to figure that out, or hard science, whatever whatever slogan I want to use. It's real common sense when you understand anatomy and biology, when you've lived through it. I've beat the crap out of my body before to where my heart has hurt, so I totally know and understand 100% the way you feel when you're not doing the right thing. And then I know how you heal where you feel good again, that even when you get an influenza, as much as it sucks, you just ride it through, you let your body detox. It's that simple. So, anyway, I kind of jumped from here to there, but the whole point is you can't tell someone who doesn't know anything that COVID, the idea that COVID is this killer thing that's we've never seen before, and we need to go through all these steps to, the stuff they use to clean these places with, it's more toxic than any influenza. So they're literally poisoning everyone with these cleaners. I don't know if people realize that that's exactly what's happening. They have claimed COVID, and now they are spraying poison on everything all day long, all the time. I haven't heard many people talk about that, but you have to understand that, you should detox every year because of these types of cleaners anyway. When you use cleaners in your home, you should never use any of these chemical-based cleaners. You can use lemon and vinegar that will do just as good a job as any other cleanser out there. And if you're really worried, throw some iodine in the motherfucker, okay? So there are plenty of other ways to clean and sanitize other than the disgusting chemicals that are offered by the CDC and I should say authorized, not offered, but authorized for COVID cleaning. The rehabilitation facility I used to work out of, I don't work there anymore because they insist on a mask, and they use these cleaners that make me absolutely nauseous. And so I don't work there anymore, but those cleaners that they use at that facility are deadly. They are absolutely deadly. And most people don't know it. So anyway, going back and forth. I guess I'm just going to go back and forth. I don't really have a particular plan for this discussion. As I look in here, I realize you see all the balloons in the background. I am on the way to do a Buddy the Elf singing telegram. The one and only business of mine that is flourishing right now is singing telegrams. People are still more than happy to send singing telegrams. So I love it. I'm not worried about going anywhere, so I'm the man. Like, send me wherever you want to go, that's fine. I did one for an 85-year-old the other day, and he was so healthy and so sharp, and he stepped outside with me, and he just chatted it up with me for a long time. He was so impressed by my Donald Trump singing telegram I did for him, which basically is kind of an acting performance with a couple songs. And he just wanted to talk to me and tell me about some stuff he's writing, and he's trying to get produced. And it was just great to see an 85-year-old man that sharp, still working, disappointed that he called it this fucking COVID, is interrupting with his engineering business, because he's also an engineer as well as a writer. Most writers and actors have other jobs in Hollywood. So anyway, I'm on the way to do a Buddy the Elf, one of my favorite characters, aside from a 6'3" Richard Simmons. Hello! I like doing Buddy the Elf. It's so much fun. Is it Christmas yet? I love Christmas. It's Christmas and sugar are the two favorite things in the whole wide world. So anyway, that's what the balloons are about. But on the other side, I had a great conversation with a woman this morning who, again, is of like mind, who is well aware that there are no laws in place to support any of this crap. It's just people consenting. If you consent, they don't need a law. That's it. Contract law is based on consenting parties. So if they offer you something and you accept and consent, You got a contract. So anyway, I started out by, you can't just tell people, and that goes with the income too. For income, people think income tax. Again, the federal government is the largest employer in the country when it comes to the education system. That's the largest employer, the education system. And that's so that they can brainwash you into thinking the way they want you to think. And that goes for everything you learned in school, including what you think money is. That is including what you think tax is. Tax is a transfer, asset, exchange. T, transfer. A, asset. X, exchange. Transfer, asset, exchange. When you start understanding that the word tax simply means moving assets from one place to another, the movement of real money, then you'll start to know that they have fooled you into believing that the word tax simply means a tariff. A tariff is different than a tax. Otherwise, why would they use the word tariff? So you have to understand, tax means all, let's just use the word money to keep it less confusing, but assets, real money. Tax is just moving money around, just like they taxi your body here and there. Okay? Income is a specific, very specific definition. It is capital gains on corporations. If you are not a corporation, now if you own a corporation, then you might be liable for some income tax. But if you don't own a large corporation, if you're just working for yourself as an individual, you do not have income. You've been fooled into believing that. Even the head of the IRS told you income tax is voluntary. Okay? Just like the corporations are, it's voluntary. They're supposed to report certain income, but they don't always do it. So it's up to us to inform on those corporations so we can have the service of the Internal Revenue do their job and go collect the income from the right people, the income tax, the income tariff. And that also means collecting the money that's owed to you. Remember, the 1040 is an income tax return. So if we're the ones supposed to pay the income tax, why would they have an income tax return? And then I know most people say, oh, well, that's because they withhold. And they're not supposed to withhold income anyway because you don't make income. You make wages. You get paid for your labor. And they're not supposed to withhold from that unless you sign the wrong form because your corporation told you to, and you're not intelligent enough to go and grab the form and read it thoroughly and look up all words and know the definitions of all those words. Everybody should have several dictionaries on hand. I have a couple different law dictionaries, Anderson's Dictionary, Valentine's Dictionary. My least suggested is Bouvier's, but there's, you can cross-reference everything. Then you need an Oxford Dictionary. I have an Oxford Latin Dictionary, so I can look up some of the origins of these words. If there's one thing that they should be doing in school is just really going through the dictionary, but they don't. Again, it's a very specific education they're giving to these children so that they learn to do what the masters want them to do, not think. So anyway, I have been really saturating myself with understanding and learning these the way that the IRS works, because it's our service. We're not supposed to be afraid of them. We're supposed to know how to let them know which corporations they're supposed to go get their income tax from. Because the corporation puts the debt onto you. Okay, for example, I have a friend that works at Sprouts. Okay, so Sprouts has her fill out a W-4 form. And when she fills that out, she gives them their social security number and signs it. That authorizes them then to access her social security account. Okay? And it also gives them fiduciary control to withhold from her check what a projected income tax would be. Okay? So what the business is essentially doing is not only paying her in debt money, they're paying her in debt money and they're withholding the taxes the corporation is supposed to be paying. They're putting that debt onto the worker. Okay? So ideally, you at the very least would have to file a W-8. Now there's a way to get to the W-8, but the W-8 is a foreign withholding exempt. Okay? It's a non-withholding, which is what everybody should be doing. Okay? And then when that company pays you in the debt money, you have to file a 1099-C against that company. You have to report them to the IRS. And again, this isn't a bad thing, like you're reporting, like you're tattling on them or something. This is just the way the system works in this particular country. Okay? Even as an American national, I have to interface with the United States corporation. And the way I have to do it is through their particular banking system. And the IRS is the controller of the banking system. It is the revenue service. They move the currency. They change the current to direct the money here, direct the money there. Direct the assets there, direct the assets there. But you have to cancel the debt behind the debt money that they paid you. Then it's free and clear money. That also lets the IRS know that you canceled the debt money, and that means the responsibility of income then goes to the corporation, and the IRS can then go and collect their money from the corporation. And you, with a 1040 or a 1041, can reclaim that money back that they withheld. Okay? I mean, in the future, you fill out a W-8 and they won't withhold money to begin with. And in the future, you learn how to access your account to get money out, and you quit that job with that corporation. That's the long game. And I say long just because I've been doing this for a year and a half. But I know some people have been doing this for 5 years, 6 years. And, I hope to have success with some of these mailings I'm doing. And I will pass on some of the information to you. I haven't talked a whole lot more about it because I want to prove it to myself that I'm on the right track before I go and share more about what is merely theory to me at this point. I told you, I'll always let you know if something's theory. And until I can prove it for myself, I say it's still theory. Okay, I'm pretty convinced, but who knows? There's a lot of things you can be easily convinced about. Just like I said, it's I believed in Santa Claus for the longest time. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember when my sister told me, laughing at me, I was furious and I was heartbroken. I truly believed it, And then I was in church for a long time. And I went to Christian middle school, Christian high school, Christian university. And I believed that the Bible was a historical document. You know, it wasn't until, I don't know, let's say 2014, 2015 that I actually, which is only like 6 years ago, that I actually broke it down like I broke down Building 7 of 9/11. 7/11. I broke that down and realized that the Bible is another book of metaphors, and it appears that I was trying to think of something clever, muchas information in there is banking information. That's why there's so many numbers and numbers and numbers. And, in the story about the servants and, how they're supposed to forgive debt, there's a lot of stuff in there about that. So since we run on a debt system in this country, you have to understand how to offset and cancel debt. All of the money is held in the treasury. The corporation and sub-corporations function off debt money until somebody cancels that debt so it can be replaced with real money, real assets. If you don't cancel the debt, then the debt remains. And as far as the income tax goes, the corporations are getting the sheeple to pay their income tax. So when people who are rich like Donald Trump say, I don't pay taxes because I'm smarter than you, he's actually telling you the truth. I say kind of telling you the truth, but he is telling you the truth. I mean, he's not smarter than you, but he has knowledge that you do not. But you can get this knowledge by starting to open that Pandora's box, which, again, I wish I had a bigger community of people who are studying this particular Patrick Devine and this particular process. I have other people I'm talking to, but they are into more of a corporate. I mean, they seem to be getting more into functioning as a corporation, where I am trying to back up and function less as a corporation, but also learn about the 1099-C, at the same time. 1099-C, cancellation of debt. That blows my mind even to this day. I just filled out 3 of them. I filled out 3 A's, 1099-A to acquire. So once you cancel the debt, then you got to tell them what you want to do with your acquisition. For example, I canceled $2,400 of a bill, and then I send a 1099-A for acquisition abandonment to pick up those funds that I canceled and tell them what to do with it. Okay? That is how this works to my knowledge. And the next thing I'll do after this is actually get a check sent to me and deposit it into a non-interest bearing, non-withholding, foreign grantor trust private bank account. That's when you need to get your foreign grantor trust. So right now I'm waiting on my estate EIN. I got to check the mailbox today actually and see if it came. Today is day 45. It's taken 45 days. And if it didn't come, I'm going to have to refile it. So I don't know exactly what happened. If I missed something, I got to go over my form. I know I forgot to put a return fax number, so they have to mail it. It's a learning process. There's no doubt about it. I went through about 3 or 4 reprints of different 1099-Cs, 1099-As, getting my templates set up. And also, after I read it, I realize, this number is supposed to be something else. And So I'm doing it, I'm reading the instructions, I'm doing it, I'm reading the instructions, I'm doing it, I'm reading the instructions. So I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth as I'm learning this process. And I think even if I have success with this, it's going to be interesting, the slow trickle of people that are still maybe interested. I had a friend of mine who's so interested, and he's like, so tell me about it. And I said like a few sentences, and he's like, all right, whatever, man, you do it and you let me know if it works out. He doesn't even want to hear or try to understand. He just wants somebody else to do it for him. So we'll see, but nobody can do it for you. It's an individual journey, just like you're born all by yourself, just like you will die all by yourself, you will also do this all by yourself. Now, it's okay to have people you bounce ideas off of. Even my guy who's more in the corporate system, I still chat with him and we chat it up because we're still on the same mindset that the corporation of the United States is separate from an American non-citizen national. We understand that. We understand that our Social Security entity is not us, the living person. The Social Security entity is indeed a business all of its own, which is why they're attaching that income tax to that business, which is why you have to cancel the debt. Otherwise, they do have a corporation to attach that to. And if you attach yourself by contract and consent and admit that you are indeed that Social Security number, then they will take your body as surety for that debt. But if you're not, if you have separated the two, then they can attack your account all they want, but they cannot take your body as surety. Just like court. If you have contracts with the court, like a driver's license, like a registration, any contracts you have like that, they can take your body as surety. Same thing with marriage, okay? Even child support. Some people get put in jail for child support. Now, I'm all about the man, stepping up and taking responsibility, absolutely. But in essence, we're talking about a debt, okay? And nobody should be in jail over a debt. Nobody, okay? It's just money. So, all that being said, and again, there's a way for people who are in jail, you cancel the debt behind that charge and get the body out of jail. Give them what they want, which is the money. That's all it is. Why do you think rich people get out of being in prison all the time? Because they got the money to pay for the charge. They're all corporate charges. Statutes and codes are corporations interacting with one another. That's it. That's what statutes and codes are. Corporations interacting with one another. So if one corporation says you owe them this, just discharge the debt. Anyway, that, I've got a lot of other knowledge that I would share, but like I said, I'm really hesitant on sharing too much until I get a little more proof in the pudding, Now, I will say, it's ironic, all debts are discharged after 3 years, and if you ask any insurance company how long, like I had a ticket that stayed on for 3 years. They always stay on for 3 years. And it's, well, why do they stay on for 3 years? Well, they can write bonds off that for 3 years. But at the end of 3 years, that debt is paid. Unless you discharge debt and close it down right away. Which is another thing I'm in the process of doing right now, is discharging a speeding ticket. So again, I have a lot of things in the works right now, and I'll have answers within the next, I'd say 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, if not sooner. It'd be great sooner, but within the next 2 months, I'm gonna have a better overstanding of what I'm doing, if things are working, if I'm missing something, all that good stuff. So I've actually talked to the IRS, and I'll be talking to them again and again and again. Again, they're our service. There's nothing for us to be afraid of, but they've trained us to be afraid of them for a reason. If you don't want people canceling debt and you want to drive the quote unquote national debt up, just don't teach them how to cancel the debt. Teach them to be afraid of the service that will help them be free. If anybody knows anything about anything in this world, they know that they teach us the opposite. So, something they're teaching you to be afraid of, you should actually not be afraid of. 9.5 out of 10 times, that is the truth. So, well, listen, I gotta check my map, make sure I'm heading in the right direction. I'm still gonna do the birth certificate video. I've just, like I said, I've been kind of waiting to have something more to tell people. Otherwise, I don't want to be theorizing. The birth certificate, there's no theory there. That's definitely authentic. It's in the words. Oops, and I'm in the wrong lane. So I can't be in the okay. I was in the HOV lane. I'm like, why am I going so fast? And everybody else has stopped. So anyway, the birth certificate, yeah, I will do that. But I also came across some other thing about corporations too. The corporation of Apple, even though it was it's here in America, it is listed as a foreign corporation. T-Mobile, here in America, registered as a foreign corporation. So how are they registered here, but foreign? Interesting, right? What's that mean for their income tax? All right, well, dude, man, hey, buddy, you want to say hi to everybody? Yeah, he's a very good boy. He's awake, ready to rock. I'm gonna go do Buddy the Elf. It's gonna be the best Christmas ever. And everybody, just keep your sanity. Take the time to stop and talk to everyone. If you see someone without a mask, you should just stop and talk to that person and thank them for showing them your smile. You may find yourself a new friend. If you don't take that time, then you're going to stay isolated. You have to build your own networks. Networks change. My network has changed dramatically. The people I used to have in my circle have been replaced, not by choice. They're the ones that excluded themselves from the circle because they don't want anything to do with me. And so now I go and I reach out to people who are not wearing masks, and I have a conversation with them, and I find those that are like-minded. That is how we build our new network of people. And the rest of them, fuck them. I mean, you can't change anyone. You cannot change anyone. You can only change yourself and share that love with another. If they become a friend, great. If they don't, then you're still doing what we're meant to do in this world, which is share our love with one another. All right? All right. I appreciate all you folks out there. And we'll be back shortly. Okay. Put your thinking caps on. You're going to need them. All right. See you later.